That game is if then. We'll give you a Mad Lib. You guys fill it out. First statement. If Dwight Howard was left off the NBA top 75 because of his personality, then blank.
If Dwight Howard was left off the NBA top 75 because of his personality, then I love that the NBA decided to inaugurate its 75th season with takes. Like, the NBA didn't have to do this. Yeah. The NBA was like, we're going to celebrate the beauty of the game by having everybody talk about how bad or good our best players are. I just love that they are feeding the industrial complex. They're feeding us in ways that we didn't ask for. But now, obviously, Dwight Howard, I think you were actually a victim of your own personality. I think that's also true. The Paul George, Ben Simmons connection there, vis-a-vis the D's, comes to Dwight Howard, yes.
Yeah, I don't know, Mina. Sometimes you just got to ignore them. You just got to ignore them. It's a distraction for all of us. Anyway, if Dwight Howard was left off the NBA top 75 because of his personality, then they let humans vote on this thing, which they do. Yeah. Like, I expect that to happen. Bias creeps in. I would also say that it's possibly because, I don't know, he's kind of like the last old school big man that any of us respect and like. Or I guess not like, but anyone else.
You can speak for yourself, buddy.
You know, I respect as a player. And that is an odd situation to be in because, like, he is kind of the representation of a dying form of basketball, if that makes sense. So maybe that's part of the reason that people have a hard time coming to understand how valuable he really was, right? No, it's a reach. They're just haters.
But Mina, well, look, I mean, so Dwight Howard now is someone who infuriated me because he was on the Sixers.
There we go. Always
Simmons.
Comes back to the Sixers. I can't.
It was a nightmare. But I will. To be fair, Mina, I'll say this, and I'll let you take it. Dwight Howard, his resume is objectively incredible. Like all NBA team defensive player of the year awards. Like, he had a run where he would have gotten this, except he continued to play and did stuff like, where is it? That. He did stuff like that. Yeah.
So I think Domonique kind of hit the nail on the head. This is about the fact that it was a list that was voted for by many people in different walks, all of whom seem to agree on the fact that Dwight Howard has bad vibes. Because his case is unimpeachable. We don't even need to get into it. Here it is. 8 all NBA player selection. Like, it's obvious all NBA team selections. I think the other thing I would throw in is perhaps recency bias, Domonique. Yeah. Like, you bad vibes and also recency bias tend to be the things that cloud objective voting in all things sports, because the fact that he's still playing and not playing particularly well at this point in his career, perhaps that is fresh in voters' minds. It doesn't make it right. We're not justifying it. Obviously, from a neutral basketball perspective on the list, he should be on the list, but neutrality isn't a real thing when it comes to rankings. Pablo, as far as the first one, by the way, about the NBA, like, just randomly throwing out a ranking.
Well, it's not a ranking. They made it clear. It's not a ranking. At the top of the list, it says not a ranking.
A Mount Rushmore with 75 people on it. Yeah.
I want to posit something to you guys. Do you think it's good for the NBA that so much of the conversation around the league is about rankings and drama and guys who aren't playing versus the actual basketball itself? Like, we did talk, Steph had one of the games that was, an incredible game last night, but it does feel like these sorts of storylines tend to dominate.
The reason why I would say no, that stuff's not good for the league is, like, those things are big picture ideas. I think what the NBA has trouble with is getting day-to-day interest. There's nothing going to change about someone's long-term standing in one night's game. So they need to figure out a way, maybe Minigames, to get people to care about night-to-night occurrences, and they haven't figured that out just yet.
I think what the problem, Mina, is that the NBA right now is really over-indexing on things the internet loves to talk about, and not so much things that people who are not online like to watch day-to-day, to Domonique's point. Which brings me also to Minigames. So I'm down. Adam Silver, for listening. Minigames.
I guess it's about stadium.
I was looking at the internet.
Or about arena gate and concessions and stuff. But as ridiculous as it sounds, the 17-game, 16-game season, like, it makes for a weekly event.
Yeah.
And, like,
correct.
if the NBA could produce the NFL's revenue, they'd be ecstatic. But part of the reason why the revenue is like every Sunday feels like an event, which makes the Mondays and Thursdays feel like events. Like just basketball, I turn on the TV sometimes like, oh, basketball, that's nice. I watch a couple minutes of it and then I don't quite care.
I guess I just wish there was a way, like, instead of, like, the Dwight Howard being left off the NBA 75 does not make me want to watch the, like, Dwight Howard, right? For obvious reasons. I am not in the business of, you know, like trying to figure out what we're talking about, which is like what generates more regular season interest during, you know, all of that. But feels like this isn't it. That's all.
Yeah, I'm not in the business of what we're talking about anymore either. So let's go to the next topic.
All right, our next if then. If the Bengals beat the Ravens and move into first place in the AFC North, then blank.
All right, Mina just clapped. Mina, you go first.
So I actually watched a lot of Bengals football this week, which is something I have kind of been dabbling in during the season, but I talked about them on my podcast, Minigames show featuring Lenny. Check it out. We had a lot of Bengals talk because, you know, they obviously have a winning record and they've been playing well, and I wanted to kind of see why. The defense is good. They're super solid. You've got kind of a lot of very like above average NFL players at every level, and guys that maybe we don't talk a lot about, like DJ Reader, Larry Ogunjobi, Trey Hendrickson is playing well, Logan Wilson, Chidobe Awuzie. Like there's just good players all around this defense. The offense is less impressive to me. I know Jamar Chase is making a lot of highlight reels, and as he should be, he's the early favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year. But so far, there's too many 3-and-outs. There's kind of like a lot of consistency from this offense and not enough to make me believe in them. If they beat the Ravens, I will become a believer.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.